Welcome Reds. Joshua Zirkzee earns man-ut redemption as 10-man Red Devils win Arsenal shootout. 6 talking points. Arsenal won 5-3-1 Manchester United. Penalties were required to separate the Premier League rivals as Joshua Zirkzee's spot kick saw United through to the next round of the FA Cup. Manchester United have pulled off a determined FA Cup victory after pushing Arsenal to penalties at the Emirates Stadium. Joshua Zirkzee scored the winning spot kick after Kai Havertz missed for the Gunners. The offside flag prevented Gabriel Martinelli from opening the scoring after he found the net in the first period. The Brazilian was left furious after he felt he took advantage of a deflection from Harry Maguire in a half that saw few chances. Arsenal showed little in the way of threat, and Manchester United served up a lesson early in the second half. Alejandro Garnacho drove into space towards the Gunners' box before laying the ball to Bruno Fernandes, who smashed the ball past David Raya. United went a goal up but were soon a man down as Diogo Dalot put in a rash challenge on the halfway line to earn his second yellow card. Barely a minute later, Gabriel Magalhaes' strike deflected past Altay Bayindir to level the scores. Tempers flared when a penalty was awarded against Maguire, but after yellow cards were brandished across the sides, Martin Odegaard saw his effort from 12 yards saved by Altay Bayindir. The goalkeeper proved a formidable force as Arsenal racked up chances, but extra time was required to separate the sides. Arsenal knocked on the door but could not find a way past United's 10 men as the game ended with penalties. Mirror Football takes a look at the talking points to emerge from the game. Alejandro Garnacho's future. It emerged ahead of the game that United's winger was a target for Antonio Conte and Napoli. The Serie A side are expecting Kavica Kvaratskhelia to depart and want Garnacho to replace their talisman. The 20-year-old is available for sale but was named in a scarcely rotated United side by Ruben Amorim. While Wanaway star Marcus Rashford was once again left out of the squad, Garnacho made his first start in more than a month. It appears that the Argentina international is still within the thought process of Amorim, and he showed flashes of the attacking value he can bring. Garnacho was pivotal in the build-up to United's opening goal with a direct run up the right flank, ensuring the side's counterattack did not go to waste. Who needs a striker more? Both Arsenal and Manchester United have been widely linked to new strikers in the transfer window, and neither appears particularly close to signing one. Gabriel Jesus and Rasmus Højlund started the game looking to prove their value to their respective managers, though the former was sharing his time leading the line with Kai Havertz. That Jesus was on the right flank and that Højlund was starved of service perhaps tells its own story in many ways. With the Brazilian being added to Arsenal's injury list after being stretchered off before the end of the opening 45 minutes, the Gunners are down another attacking player. Both sides lacked a presence up front, albeit for differing reasons. Given the time they spent in control of the ball, it may be Arteta who is screaming for a difference maker for the rest of the season. Havertz's 88th minute miss may prove the most persuasive argument. Arsenal's injuries one day and 3 new injuries. Ricardo Calafiori was ruled out with a muscular issue before a ball was kicked, while Jesus was carried from the field with a knee injury after falling from a tangle with Bruno Fernandes. Jesus could now face a spell on the sidelines. Perhaps most worryingly of all was when Martin Odegaard started to hobble before halftime. The Denmark international looked ready to leave the field, but with scant time remaining, until the break he persisted on the pitch and did ultimately emerge once again. Given how Arsenal handled his absence earlier this season, there will have been a sigh of relief that Bukayo Saka was not joined on the sidelines by his creative teammate. Odegaard was not able to take advantage and missed a penalty in the second period, however. The players they are already missing appears to be enough for Arteta to contend with for the moment, with Jorginho adding to his concerns after needing to be substituted during extra time. Harry Maguire's 3-word message to Kai Havertz before brawl spotted. Harry Maguire called out Kai Havertz after the Arsenal star went down under a challenge from the Manchester United defender, which landed his side a penalty in their FA Cup tie. Harry Maguire took aim at Kai Havertz and said, "You cheating scumbag," after the Arsenal star landed his team a penalty. Tempers flared at the Emirates with 20 minutes remaining as the referee pointed to the spot with the game poised at 1-1. Havertz dribbled into the area and attempted to evade Maguire, who left out a leg and saw himself pinged for a foul. The Manchester United star protested his innocence with the referee, who has no VAR in the third-round FA Cup encounter. After pleading with the official, Maguire turned his attention to the Arsenal frontman, whom he clearly accused of diving. Both sets of players then began brawling after the penalty decision was made, with verbals exchanged. Manuel Ugarte then clashed with Havertz as the German found himself on the deck. Once the situation had been calmed, Martin Odegaard stepped up as he looked to put Arsenal ahead. He was thwarted though, as Altay Bayindir produced a stunning save, keeping the game level ahead of the final period. Ex-Newcastle star Alan Shearer was full of praise for Bayindir and his save, but believed that the penalty should not have been given in the first place. Speaking on BBC Sport, he said, "Altay Bayindir gets down really quickly. He gets a good, strong hand to it. I thought the penalty was a bit harsh. I really did." Bruno Fernandes had put the visitors ahead after a goalless first half. The United skipper finished impressively after a pass from Alejandro Garnacho. Gabriel soon had the Gunners level though, with his effort deflecting in off Matthijs de Ligt. In between the two goals, Diogo Dalot was given his marching orders. The United wingback was already on a yellow card when he came flying in for a tackle, only to miss the ball completely, leaving the referee with no option but to produce a red card. United and Arsenal are both desperate to land a trophy this season, albeit for differing reasons. Ruben Amorim is looking to salvage something from what has been a forgettable campaign thus far, whilst Mikel Arteta is facing questions as his silverware drought continues. Arsenal star was banned from taking penalty in managed shootout due to little-known rule. Arsenal were ousted from the FA Cup by Manchester United on penalties after Kai Havertz's miss, but the Gunners' chances were hit with a blow after one star was prevented from taking a spot kick. Arsenal star William Saliba was banned from taking a penalty against Manchester United after Diogo Dalot was sent off. The Gunners slipped to their second cup defeat in a week after being eliminated by the Red Devils. Kai Havertz proved to be the villain after seeing his spot kick saved by Altay Bayindir. And while it only took 5 penalties for United to win, the shootout could have gone beyond that had Havertz scored. It would have meant that the penalties would have carried on throughout both teams, all the way to the goalkeeper. But one Arsenal star from their ex-team would not have taken one anyway: Saliba. FA Cup rules dictate that each side have to have the same amount of penalty takers. And due to Dalot's red card for 2 bookable offenses, that would not have been the case. It left Arsenal needed to name a player to be cut from the penalty order, and Saliba was the fall guy. His forced omission was not the only penalty woes that Arsenal had to endure against United. Havertz's miss contributed to Arsenal's exit, but Arteta refused to lay blame at his feet. "It's unbelievable," he said after the defeat. "Obviously, you measure the performance and what we did in relation to the position, you deserve to win the game by a mile. But the reality is, we are out, and the only thing that's going to be judged, but internally I can't. I love my players, I love our team, and I love how good they are and what they do, because in 1,000 games like this, you lose one, and probably it was this one. It's football, and it is a part of that execution. You need things to go your way, and tonight it didn't. When you go to penalties, you know that it's a flip of the coin, and it can go either way. I'm so proud of my players. I love my players, and I cannot be prouder, because it's very difficult to demand something else than the performance that they put in there." Meanwhile, Captain Martin Odegaard had the chance to score in normal time, after Havertz was adjudged to have been fouled by Harry Maguire. But he too saw his effort saved by Bayindir, and United boss Ruben Amorim claimed that could have been the turning point for his side. He said, "It was really important because it gives us more strength, and then with less one player, he's really hard to press. It's really hard to press a team like Arsenal with 11 players. Imagine with 10 players, and then you are in a disadvantage. It is really hard because they can control the ball. They were already controlling the ball in a lot of moments. So it was vital to win the game, to draw the game,